Hi guys, I'm sorry I was already saying in the background there's going to be noise. They're building houses not far from mine. But this past week has been car safety week, National Car Safety Week. So I thought I would end the week with my video that I had a few requests about with the different car seats. Being currently I have all of them. I've got a convertible seat, or an infant seat, or rear facing only seat, a convertible seat which is forward facing or rear facing, a combination seat which is only forward facing with a booster, and then a dedicated booster, high back booster, which can turn into a low back booster. So I'm going to show you all of the different seats and the proper ways to use them. I'm not going to install them on video and then do all that because each seat is different when it comes to installing. So I don't want to confuse people when they get one seat and say, well, in her video she showed how to do it this way. So if you're installing a seat, I suggest you either locate a near car or CPST, or if there is a car seat event going on in your area. Or another good resource is reading that manual, that little book that comes with it. So I'm going to go through each of the seats, but first, since I didn't have any seats in, I was going to show you, there's some crumbs. Took my daughter's seat out, and cars that, it was mandated in I believe 2003, but there's a lot of cars between 2000 and 2003 that have them, is your latch system. My van has one in each. Oh, my son's booster seat's in there. That seat has a set. This seat has a set, and we have the third row up. It has one set as well. This is called the lower anchors, or lower latch. They're right here. Mine stick out pretty well, so they're not hard to find. There are some cars that they're in the bright of the seat, so they're harder to find. Okay, the beeping's my van, because I have to show the back. But yeah, that's where you attach the latch system. And then of course there is the old seatbelt install. The infant seat is going to be the only one I'm going to use latch with. The convertible seat, I will be using the seatbelt. I personally just prefer the seatbelt install. It's easier for me. I'm a tech. Some people prefer the latch install. They feel it's better and it's more secure. You never use both together. Or I should take that back. There is one car seat that allows you to use both together when a child is forward facing, but that's a $500 car seat, so most people aren't going to have it. And once again, back to the read your manual, you also have to read your car seats manual, because some are cars manual, because some car, well, the seat allows it, some cars do not allow it. When people ask, well, why can't we use both? The good analogy is, or why can't we use both? Both will do good. The analogy that I've heard and I really like is, would you wear contacts and glasses at the same time? The answer is no. Just because it seems like a good idea doesn't make it a better idea. It has to do with physics and crash dynamics, and they weren't tested that way. And I already went over like aftermarket items in the car seats as well in a previous video, but that's where my lower latch anchors are on my van. Then there is also in the back, you can see it down here, that is the top tether point right there, that black little thing. Some vehicles, I know my Envoy in the past, it was underneath the seat, so you kind of had to feel around for it. When you have a forward-facing car seat, you always need to have that top tether. If you have a vehicle pre-2000, you can usually get one retrofitted. You'll have to take it to the dealership to do. After that, Okay, I should say it's highly encouraged. I know in my husband's van, we had it retrofitted and they put him in wrong. So the seats my kids are in aren't top tethered. But when they hit 65 pounds, which is when their seat requires it to be top tethered, we turn them into boosters. Or when they get around 65 pounds. The other thing is with latch, the top tether, not as much. People usually use it past it, but each car manufacturer has a latch limit. Typically it's 65 pounds, and that means that you have to discontinue using especially these lower anchors when the weight of the car seat that the car passenger safety seat and the weight of your child exceeds 65 pounds. So in my daughter's case, she weighs 48 pounds. Or not 48, she weighs 50 pounds. So as long as her car seat is under 15 pounds, we could still use lower latch. Her car seat that she uses on a daily basis, I just temporarily have the boosters in here. But her car seat that she uses on a regular basis is more than 15 pounds. So we cannot use latch with that. But the car seat, the convertible seat, which she actually has just outgrown, I could latch that in because the car seat itself only weighs about 10 pounds. So she actually would have 5 more pounds. But I've rambled on enough about the car's seat. I'm going to do the infant rear-facing only seat. Then I will do the convertible both forward and rear-facing. I will do a combination seat, the booster with the seat, or with the high back, like in this instance, and then without the high back, because you can take that off. So I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, I am starting out with the infant seat. For this video, I'm just going to kind of go in order. The seats you would typically need. This is the infant seat base. This is for Kiko Key Fit. It takes the Key Fit 22 or 30. I believe all the 22s are expired or close to expiring. My Key Fit is a 30, so they still make those. And then they also make the new Key, I think it's called Key 2. The Key 2 will not work with these bases. They have a separate base, because I believe they go up to 35 pounds. This particular one on the back has this little door for the manual. But yeah, this is the base. I already installed it. Like I said, this one I would do latch. Usually with my infant bases, I do latch if it's in that spot, the lower anchors. But if it's not in that spot, I don't really worry about it. The seatbelt install is pretty easy. You just route the seatbelt through over there. You buckle it up, and then right here on the Key Fit, these orange things, they're called lock-offs. And on this side, you'd pull the top part after you've buckled at the shoulder belt back through it, just to keep it safe. You also, anytime you use a seat belt install with a car seat that is not a booster seat, you want to lock it. Most locks now are right here where you can hear. Okay, this is going to take forever. Only pull a little at a time. Here we go. You can hear the click, and you can hear it ratchet. Let it go all the way back in. That tells you the seatbelt is locked. You want to do that with any seat, car seat that is buckled in that isn't a booster. Like that booster seat, if there was a child in it, you don't lock it. It needs to be used like a regular seatbelt, like you would an adult. But like yesterday when I installed that, not yesterday, when I install the Complete Air that I'll be doing for my, not combination, my convertible seat, that I will lock the seatbelt both ways when I install it. That's just to make sure that it doesn't come loose over time. So I'm going to put the seat in. I have got this Key Fit And all you have to do with the infant seat is, you hear the click. Most infant seats to release have a lever on the back, except baby trends. I haven't seen the new baby trends, but I know up until last year, all baby trends, their release was up front, up here in the front. But yeah, that's how you install an infant seat. That's what it should look like. Most infant seats when installed on the base look similar. Some infant seats require a certain amount of room between the seat and the seat in front of it. I know for the Kiko seats, you can leave the handle up, but you can leave this handle up, but there are a few seats that you cannot. I believe even flow, you either have to have the handle back here, and you have to have a certain amount of room from the handle to the front seat, or the newer ones you can flip forward as an anti-rebound. Sit you guys down for a second. I don't think this one flips forward. Nope, that one doesn't go forward, but it will go back. So some infant seats require that you have the handle back like this, and there has to be a certain distance between here and here. That's why it's important to read your manual. Also, the one thing that's nice about the Kiko key fits is they have a bubble level line right in the base. So you can install the base without having to worry about the level, because I know on Graco seats, at least the ones that my kids have had in the past, theirs is like right here on the seat, so you have to put the base in, then you have to put the seat on to see if it's within proper level. Like right here is showing bubble level guide indicates correct angle and correct installation, and it's showing you the bubble needs to be in between these two arrows, and I believe on the key fit it's on both sides. But yeah, I think that's another way to release it, because the key fit clicks in on the sides. I'm gonna sit you guys. Sorry guys, I accidentally hit the stop recording button. But yeah, this is what an infant seat should look like in a base. Even with your reborns, you need to either buckle it in or use it with the base. I've seen lots of videos where the person, even like, oh, it's just a doll, and just goes and throws it in the car, in the back seat. Think about it. Like, this is secure. It's not going anywhere like for a real baby. But if you were driving and you were in an accident, this would go flying. I'm going to stop the video, take out the base, and show you what I'm talking about. Also, I will do what's called a baseless install. On the key fit, this is an older pad that I bought to match my stroller, but right there are the seatbelt guides, and I will do an install quickly with that as well, but I will be right back. Okay, so I have done what is a baseless install. As you can see, I am using the seat belt without the base. It just loops, this lap portion just loops right through these two little, I don't know what you want to call them, flanges. Every car seat has to have these. There's one on each side, and you have to put them on each side. This car seat, once again, it does have a level indicator on the seat, so if you need to do a baseless. One thing I did not do, which I showed you, but I'll show you again, this is what I'm talking about, locking the lap belt. You can hear it. And you hear it ratcheted in. The seat's going nowhere. Once again, you check for movement. No movement at the lap belt. I didn't do that with the base to show you guys, but there was no movement. But yeah, this is how you do a baseless install. So this is like, say for instance, there's an emergency, you're riding in a different car, you're taking a taxi, you're riding with a friend and don't want to move your base. I believe all car seats require this. No, they do not. There is now one car seat that has not expired. The Nuna Pippa Light does not have these. You have to use the base. But pretty much every other car seat has them. There are a few car seats in the past that do not have them. But if you're gonna use, like, not move your car seat around much, that's not a big deal. But like for me, there was times I would go with my friends places when my kids were younger, so it was nice to, I actually had a separate base that was an extra base. And then just to undo it, you come over here, pop the seat belt. I gotta put these back on. And then pull it out. And like this has where you can attach it to cover them back up. And you can have the handle up. I just had it down because it was easier to buckle that way. But this is what I'm talking about with, I've seen a lot in the reborn community, people just throw the car seat in the back seat, which I've seen them have the basis because they've bought like a travel system brand new. Or at least they buy them used, and most people who sell used car seats sell the base with them. But like, look at it. I mean, I'm not even trying and this is moving. One quick step on the brakes and this is at least tipping backwards. If it's not tipping backwards, it's going backwards like this. And then if you turn, it's just going to fall over like that. It doesn't take much. Yes, I'm being rough with this car seat. It's expired, so it'll never be used again for a real baby. But this is what I'm talking about when it comes to car seat safety, even with reborns, because that's a risk for you or any other passenger in the car. Like if my son was sitting in that booster seat right there and this tipped and went flying, it could hit and hurt him very badly. So it's more, it's not even just like the safety of, oh, it's just a doll. Yeah, it's just a doll, but this seat can come up and hit you. It can come up and hit your passenger. It can hit your backseat passenger. It needs to be done safely, and I had a few questions from people before. You know, I don't have a car seat, I'm traveling with my doll, what do I do? You put them on the floorboards. If you don't have a car seat, honestly, you really should not have anything on the seats that isn't buckled up. You should try to secure as much stuff as you can with like ratchets, or like bungee cords. You need to secure stuff. Like right now my back seat's pretty empty, or my back's pretty empty, but like when I have my one stroller in there, it's actually bungee corded to the head post of the seat that it's sitting against. Another thing is with a rear facing seat, his straps they're back here, they're down here, I can actually move up one. They are below his shoulders. And all of this, the seat pad, the head pad, and the shoulder pads all came with this car seat. So they are safe to use in this car seat. None of them are aftermarket. And you need to read your manual to see when you need to discontinue the use for a real child. It's after a certain amount of weight that you need to discontinue them. Except for the shoulder pads, because they can be removed at any point in time on this particular seat. But there are some seats that are very specific that the shoulder pads need to stay on at all times. So once again, read your manuals. If you're wanting to buy a seat and you're not sure, well, is it going to be a pain in the butt type seat? Well, this is my suggestion, is pretty much every store that sells car seats, there's a manual attached to the car seat or around the car seat. And that is, you can, literally, I have done this when I was looking for car seats for my kids. I would stand in the aisle reading those, or not reading word for word, but skimming those car seat manuals to see what specifics they said. So I will next do the Complete Air convertible seat, which is a rear facing and forward facing harness seat. So I will see you in a bit. Okay guys, I have got my Complete Air 70 convertible installed. So this is the second car seat. This one can be installed rear facing or forward facing. So I have it installed rear facing. This particular car seat, to figure out how level it needs to be, you've got these two lines. I did the most upright line. There's the more rear facing line for children 5 pounds to 22 pounds. and then the more up is from 22 to 40 pounds. The reason why they have the dual lines on this, most seats have them now, it's because when you put a younger infant in, you want a more of a recline because they cannot hold their head up and their head might flop forward. As they get bigger and they can control their head better, they can sit up a little more, so they don't have to be as reclined. As you see, I got Rory in here. He is right at the shoulders in this recline, and this is the lowest setting this will go on, so he is right at where he can start using this seat. I know it says 5 pounds, but a lot of convertibles, there are some that you can use from birth, but a lot of convertibles will say you can use them from birth, but their harnesses do not go low enough for smaller babies. Rory wears about a 3 to 6 month size, and he's right at, so like this convertible you can start using probably about 6 months. And like I had said, I use the seatbelt install. You want to take your non-dominant hand, I'm right-handed, so this is my left hand, and you want to make sure there is less than an inch of wiggle room in the belt path. And as you can see, the car seat is not moving. Yes, there is this gap between here. Some car seats, Safety First is a Durrell product. They make Safety First, Costco, Moxie Cozy, Eddie Bauer, and I think there's one more, but I cannot think of it off the top of my head. They allow you to either take some towels and roll them up and put them under to fill this gap if you feel like it, or you can make what's called a pool noodle triangle. You cut a pool noodle into 3 sections, you tape them together like a triangle, and you can fit it under there. So, I mean, that's kind of a decision. I never used the triangle. I never needed it. Some people just like that added protection, but this is what a rear-facing seat with a seat belt install should look like. And all seats should have no less than 1 inch of movement in the belt path. And you grab with your non-dominant hand, and you don't use your full force. You just give it a little tug, and if it doesn't move, you're good. If you've got about 1 inch, you're still good. It doesn't need to be rock solid like this one is. But I am going to flip this car seat around and do a forward-facing install with it. Okay, so I now have my Complete Air 70 turned around forward-facing. Once again, seatbelt install. There's no movement in the belt path. Mr. Rory was right at, so I moved his harness up 1 click. Of course, he would be too small to be in a forward-facing car seat. American Pediatric recommends 2 years at the minimum for forward-facing. Both of my kids went till 3. My son actually outgrew his car seat rear-facing at 3. He hit 40 pounds at 3. My daughter wasn't 40 pounds at 3, but we had some behavioral stuff going, and at that point we're like, we got her to 3. It's safer to get them to 4 because that's when their bones ossify and can better withstand forward-facing crash. Not dynamics, but the weight of the crash. Because as I said in a previous video, everything is weight times speed. So even in a car seat, like the baby coming forward, if they're rear facing, they go back and up. Forward facing, they just come out front. So that puts a lot of strain on their necks. So he would be too small to be forward facing, but I don't have any bigger dolls than him. I don't have a toddler doll that would work. But, so his straps are at or above, so I moved them above. Since rear facing, they were just at or below. I couldn't go any lower for that. He's got his harness done up correctly. And also, this is what I was talking about with the rear facing. His seat is top tethered. There's a little, it's kind of flipped over on top of it. There's a little hook that hooks onto that bar, and that's to prevent head injury, or it's to help prevent head injuries or head excursion, meaning the head going too far forward or the seat actually going too far forward and hitting the seat in front of it. That's to help with that. So since the seat is forward facing, it is now top tethered. And as I've said before, yes, there's chocolate on the back. I need to get my seats cleaned. But my son's going to booster seat, so it does not have a top tether, because booster seats are a whole nother beast. But this is what it looks like with the top tether for this one. Read your manuals and read your car seat manuals, because some mandate that you need to have the strap go through the headrest posts. Some of them say they need to go over, some of them say they need to go around. So you need to read your car seats manual, and you need to read the manual of your actual car. So next I will be doing my combination seat, which is a forward facing only seat that can turn into a booster. So I have my assistant here in, this is a Britax Frontier Click Tight, or Britax, I think 90 when we bought them. They are harnessed to high back booster seats. As you can see, my kids are in a harness seat still. I've said it numerous times in other videos. My son is 7.5, but he's the size of an 8-year-old, and he still has room to grow on this seat. This is actually his sister's seat, so he's just fitting it right now. But it is installed with the seat belt because both of my children have met the maximum to use the lower latch anchors. But the way that this car seat is designed, there's a panel in it that actually holds the seat belt. So it's super easy. You just pop the panel open, put your seat belt through, close the panel, and your seat's installed, and it doesn't go anywhere. So you can see he's in a 5-point harness. The shoulders are kind of right, a little bit above right at there. And his chest clip is right at his armpit, kind of nipple area. Probably go up a little more, but it's not down on his soft belly. He's buckled in properly. This, in the car seat world, most techs are going to tell you no. It's a parental decision. There's a thing called a buckle bopper for adults that can't undo car seats, but for the car seat line, this is what we've had to resort to because I cannot reach back and unbuckle car seats. And when we tried the buckle bopper, my son's hands, as I've mentioned in the past, he does have autism, and he doesn't have some of the motor skills to be able to use it, as well as it became a projectile actually in one crash, or not crash, when the brakes got applied too quickly. Please stop. But he's properly buckled in. He's in the 5-point harness. Once again, if you take this car seat to to get it checked at a car seat event with a car seat tech, you would get dinged for this. We're not using the belt guides. These are the belt guides for when it turns into a high back booster. Once again, we've had an issue where brakes had to be applied really quickly and the headsets went flying. So the kids usually keep them back here like that, but they can also get them when they need to. They just grab the I think it's a sippy cup pal is what it's called. And the other thing you'd get dinged for is the buckle bee. And as I've mentioned before, car seats that have a harness, they need to be rear or top tethered. It's called top tethered because it's on the top of the seat and it comes down to here. This particular seat does a V pattern, so it doesn't go through the headrest because Britax has this double-sided. So this is what a proper combination seat install, or I shouldn't say proper. The install is proper, but like I've said, if you would take it to a tech event, you'd be dinged for the sippy pal with the headphones and the buckle bee. Those are parental decisions. I can't say I can't encourage you to use them, but I can't say you can't use them because that's your choice. So next we will be doing the boosters. So here we have a high back booster. We are using even flow spectrums. That's what this one is. There is lots of different styles, types, and brands of high back boosters. You need to do some research on what fits your car and fits your child high back booster wise when your child gets to about that age. High back boosters shouldn't be used until age 5 at minimum. Yes, I know the car seat manufacturers say 3 and 30 pounds. No, your child is not mature enough to do that. My almost 6-year-old and 7-year-old are barely mature enough to sit in a high back booster. Is there going to be the exception of a 4-year-old that's mature enough? Possibly, but typically 5 is the minimum you want your child in a high back booster. These are actually our backup seats, so like when they ride with grandparents or they've been in their boosters for about a week because I was cleaning their harness seats. As you can see, one, my daughter's is over on the side. But yeah, so I'm just going to show you kind of properly how they should fit. My son is 7 years old, about 7.5-ish. He's about the size of an 8-year-old. But he still fits in his harness, so we're going to still continue to use it. First and foremost, lots of people forget this. All high back boosters is going to have something similar to this. It might be in a different spot. It is a, oh, my mind's blanking. It's basically for where the shoulder belt goes in. It's a shoulder belt or a seat belt guide. It keeps the shoulder belt in proper spot. As you can see, where the shoulder belt lays, it's comfortable for him. It's not going to ride up on his neck like this. It's not going to slide down. It keeps it right where it should be. A big mistake is people decide to skip the high back booster altogether and go straight to a no back booster, and then their kids put the seatbelt behind their neck. In an accident, then all the force goes down to this lap belt. There's a reason why all car seats, or 99% of cars, have shoulder belts now. Because in an accident, you're going forward. This stops you right at your chest. So you've got 3 points. 1, 2, 3 points that are going to hold you in, where just a lap belt's going to hold you in 2 points, and it's only going to hold you over your stomach. The other thing with boosters, you need to make sure that it's not on the soft part of the belly. As you can see, his hip is right here and his other hip is over here, and you want it to lay right on the hips, their hip bones, kind of a little bit on their upper thighs. I see a lot of kids that the seatbelt's coming right across their belly. That's a huge no-no. As you can see, it's buckled in just like a regular seatbelt, and in this case, this is where it routes. It routes straight through here. There's lots of seatbelt or car seats that the seat actually has armrests that sit back further, and it routes through the armrest, not behind, not up. It goes through the rests. So this is what it should look like on a high back booster, and we will show you what a low back booster looks like. So I have churned our high back booster into a low back booster, and this is approximately what it should look like. Not all high back boosters turn into low back boosters. There are the few that don't. Most of them do. This particular one does. I just popped the back off, which is actually laying on the ground here, when I put it back in the garage. Since it's our spare seat, I'll put it back on. But once again, for the belt fit, goes through these little notches that Evenflow has specified, goes over the hips once again, and back to the seat belt, and then up. I don't know why he's sitting like this, but And then for this one, since there's no belt guides that are attached to the high back, there is a belt guide like this. These are important. Most people on low back boosters or even high back boosters, they just chuck these. These are very important because look, it is keeping the seatbelt right where it should be across his chest. He's not going to put it over his head, behind him. It keeps it in the proper spot. If it wasn't there and he would move around, the seatbelt would actually, turn your head a little bit, would kind of come up, no, didn't move, was coming up here until I put that on. So this just keeps, once again, the shoulder belt in the proper spot that it needs to be in. There's not a whole lot to low back boosters. Once again, you need to read your guides. For low back boosters, they start saying, oh, you can start using a low back booster at 5. No. Most kids, once again, do not have the maturity at 5 to sit in just a low back booster. A high back booster gives them more back support, gives them more head support. It also gives them the head wings so that if they fall asleep, they can lean their head over. Because like right now, if he was falling asleep, he would probably start sliding over because that's what he's used to. When you're getting your kids into high back boosters and they're starting to fall asleep, to kind of start getting them prepared for being in a low back booster or not being in a booster seat at all, you need to prepare them and say, okay, when you start feeling tired, look up to the ceiling. So they look up and then puts their head in an up position so it kind of keeps their head straighter. But yeah, this is what a proper low back booster should look like. Like I said, he is 7.5. He's the size of an 8-year-old, but he mature-wise is nowhere near being in a low back booster, not even close. So he's still in a harness seat, but I'm just showing you how to use or what it should look like. Next and the last will be without a car seat, and obviously he is not the right size. And to answer the question that I was just going to, and I just completely forgot, typically low back boosters, you want to start looking at about 8. A typical child is not ready to get out of a car seat till 10. So at 6, you want to start looking at high back boosters, and at 8, you can kind of start toying around with taking it off. You don't have to. Those are kind of the minimums that techs suggest. So we will be back with him without a car seat, and it'll show how improper even this large 7-year-old looks in just a seatbelt. So we will be right back. So I have him sitting in his seat without a car seat. He is definitely not ready. First of all, just showing you, like, look, his belt kind of comes on his hips, but it's on his tummy too much for my liking. As well as, just turn your head. Look at where the seatbelt comes out. It comes right at his neck. That's going to cut into his neck. So most likely he's just going to shove it behind him because it's more comfortable that way. That's not proper. That's not safe at all. Kids need to, what's called 5-step in the car seat world before they can be in a car without a seat. The steps are, does the child sit all the way back against the seat? Can you lift your arms up? So he's kind of slouching, so no, he's not. Does the child's knees bend comfortably at the auto seat's edge? Not really, because he has scooted his bum forward and his knees still really aren't bending all that comfortably at the edge of the seat. Does the belt cross the shoulders between the neck and the arm? Nope, it's right on the neck. Is the lap belt as low as possible touching the thighs? Nope, it is right on his belly. And can your child stay seated like this the whole trip? Definitely not. So he in no way, shape, or form passes the car seat 5-step test. It was pretty much a no on every single one of those. So at minimum, and my kids aren't the minimum, he needs to be in this seat, or in a high back booster seat, which he's not ready for that, until he can pass all those. Once again, as I've said before, both of my kids are still harnessed. We're kind of high back booster training, but they're still in a full-fledged harness. The seats that we have, they fit. So why change it? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will try to add the graphic of the 5-step, and then I'm going to do kind of a quick overview of the various car seats and approximate ages for them. And I think he's telling me he's done. So I hope you enjoyed this seat and wrapping up car safety week, and I will see everybody later. Bye.